Welcome to this introduction, which provides a graphical overview of the Impact Econ Global Supply Chain Database and its related model. We will demonstrate how the Impact Econ Global Supply Chain Database and model can enhance your modeling capabilities and bring deeper analytical insights to your research. Whether you are concerned with international sourcing, performing a trade policy, or climate change study, we think the Impact Econ Database and model will enhance your analysis. In subsequent presentations, we will provide a case study of how the Impact Econ Database and model can improve the sector and macro level results of typical global economic analysis. What is a global supply chain database? As a global model and database, the Impact Econ supply chain product is a derivative of the widely used GTAP database produced by the GTAP Center at Purdue University. The Impact Econ supply chain database augments the GTAP database to improve the representation of international sourcing of business intermediate, capital equipment, and final goods. To understand how the Impact Econ supply chain product works, we can start by looking at the GTAP database and illustrate how the supply chain details can improve the representation of international sourcing. At the center of our enhanced approach is the aggregation of global trade into the 57 GTAP sectors. The GTAP database contains trade data for over 5,000 harmonized system 6-digit commodities. However, these trade data are highly aggregated into 57 sectors, or if we subtract services sectors, which are not included in the HS system of goods classification, we have 42 goods trade sectors. The end result of this process are highly aggregated sectors, especially in manufacturing. If we take a look at one of these aggregated manufacturing sectors, such as motor vehicles, or MVH in its abbreviated form in GTAP, we see some distinct patterns of goods as being typically sold to consumers, such as autos, or to businesses, such as parts, or those goods such as investment, such as cranes and trucks. The GTAP model does not make these distinctions and aggregates all these manufacturers into one GTAP commodity, motor vehicles. If we recognize that many products can be classified based on purchasing agent, we can usefully disaggregate the GTAP commodities into three categories: final demand, which includes households and government purchases, business intermediates, and capital equipment. Let's take a look at the motor vehicles commodity in GTAP. The GTAP motor vehicle category includes containers for trucks, heavy trucks, fire engines, drilling rigs, semi-tractors, semi-trailers, mobile cranes, all goods which are unlikely to be sold to consumers or used as business intermediates. In fact, according to the UN System of National Accounts, these goods are capital equipment. Next, we look at differentials, gearboxes, axles, seat belts, engines, diesel engines, non-diesel engines, which are all major inputs into the automotive manufacturing industry. GTAP once again aggregates all these products into MVH, or motor vehicles. Finally, looking at campers, large cars, mid-sized cars, and compact cars, these are all goods which are typically sold to final consumers, which are once again aggregated into the GTAP database. Looking at a view of world trade, we consider the case of motor vehicles in GTAP. In the following case, we will assume Germany is the importer and Japan exports primarily autos, and that the USA exports primarily tractor-trailers. German imports of MVH, or motor vehicles, are used by consumers, businesses, and investment. Now let's assume we enact a policy which increases consumer demand for autos in Germany, affecting German imports of autos. We have an increase in consumer demand. In the GTAP database and model, this translates into an increase in MVH imports. At this point, the GTAP model and database, no distinction is made between autos and tractor-trailers. So the increase in consumer demand affects U.S. exports of tractor-trailers to Germany as it does German imports of autos from Japan. This is not a desirable feature of the GTAP database, and the Impact Econ supply chain database redefines this relationship. In the case of the Impact Econ global supply chain database and model, we unpack the GTAP aggregate imports and assign them to the user of the goods in a logical category, such as capital goods, business intermediate, and consumer goods, thereby retaining the unique aspect of each agent's purchases. With the creation of the Impact Econ Global Supply Chain Database, we can now more naturally reflect the flow of goods within a supply chain framework. We now replace the single MVH or motor vehicle category in GTAP with a new motor vehicle category which identifies imports by using agents, which include consumers, businesses, and capital investment and equipment. Looking at autos from Japan, we can now link these sales to consumers, the main user. Likewise, we can link the sale of tractor trailers to capital investment in the form of capital equipment. And most importantly, we can map business intermediates such as auto parts to the manufacturer of the final good. The improved linkages do not stop with our German example. Take Australian exports of auto parts. We also complete the supply chain by linking these exports to the manufacturer of autos in Japan. Why use a global supply chain database? The short answer is because it will improve your modeling results and insights by making the linkages of supply and use direct, allowing for greater refinement of tariffs and protection by agent, improving the representation of investment impacts. In short, if you are concerned about modeling industry output, production, and trade, you should use the Impact Econ Global Supply Chain Database. Other videos in this series of presentations will provide examples of how your results will be transformed by the application of realistic supply chain relationships within a global framework. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about our product. Please visit our webpage to learn more or obtain a copy of the Impact Econ Global Supply Chain Database.